Welcome to The Cauldron, a podcast hosted by Ed Bolden-Greer, the creator of Ravens Vail. In each episode, Ed will have free-flowing conversations about horror, life, culture, and personal growth. Expect to hear from storytellers, authors, horror experts, life gurus, thought leaders, and influencers. The Cauldron is a place where concoctions of a lot of ideas are brewed down to potions that are sometimes important and useful, sometimes eccentric and bizarre, but always just what you need. The Cauldron podcast may contain explicit language and thematic elements not suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Well, hey there, family. Welcome back to the Ravens Vail Cauldron podcast, where the whispers of wisdom echo and the warmth of our community gathers. As the cauldron simmers, we're here to brew up a concoction of topics that resonate with the soul and spark the imagination. I'm your host, Ed Bolden-Greer, and this is my co-host, Jacob Garner, a.k.a. Frady Cat.
Hello, everyone. We're deeply grateful for your return. It's your curiosity and passion that fuel the fire beneath our cauldron. Each episode is a tapestry woven from your comments, questions, and requests.
So settle in, let the magic of the cauldron envelop you, and prepare for an adventure into the realm of mind and spirit. Together, we'll explore the mysteries that await with hearts open and minds ready to receive the elixir of knowledge and insight this season.
Thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with us. Your presence is the greatest gift, and we're honored to have you as part of the Ravens Vail family. Now, let the cauldron bubble, and let's get going.
Hey, we're back.
We're back, baby.
Hey. Well, Jacob, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing so good. Loving that the weather's finally heating up.
It's raining all the time, though, man.
I'll take it over the snow.
Well, that's true. I'll take it over anything cold. You're looking awful good today over there, Jacob.
Oh, yeah.
Did you get your hair cut?
I certainly did. I got it lopped off more than anything.
Looks like you got about 8-9 inches cut off of it.
Yeah, I seriously, it just was getting way too long. Like, Ed knows, it was past my navel. Like, that's how long it was.
So, Jacob, that's not saying a lot. You're 5'5".
I hate you so much. No, yeah, I figured I needed to get ready for the summer. And dude, it was funny because we all rolled up this weekend with the exact same haircut.
I know.
It
was crazy.
They're like, man, these guys are really locked in as a group over here.
Hey, I like those socks too, man.
Oh, yeah. For the listeners, you guys can't see them, but my partner bought me some socks. They have the character Lord Farquaad from Shrek, and it says in giant letters, Short King on it.
Because how tall are you?
5'5". God, I hate you.
I'm sorry. It's just so easy.
First episode back, and you're already right on to me again, man.
I've got all kinds of new material.
God.
So, we're going to go ahead and get this out of the way, Jacob. Are you wet? So we're going to get this.
Dude, I hate you, Ed. Oh.
So, Jacob, we're going to go ahead and get this right out of the way.
Yeah.
Are you ready for the Would You Rather questions?
Let's crack it open. First one of the season. Let's go.
Okay, here we go. Would you rather
Uh-huh.
be the last survivor in a zombie apocalypse or be the only person immune to a worldwide vampire outbreak?
Okay. What, in both scenarios, what kind of zombie movie could you use for the reference for the apocalypse, and what kind of vampire movie could you use for...
What are you familiar with?
I would assume if we're going with zombie apocalypse, I'm thinking like Walking Dead zombies.
Yeah.
Slow,
that's
shambling.
Yeah.
Romero zombies.
Dead, shambling, rotting.
But for the vampire outbreak, I mean, if it's like Twilight vampires, like...
Nope.
Okay, so 30 Days a Night?
30 Days and Nights. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm going zombie apocalypse on that one.
Okay.
Because, I mean, dude, if you had given me the option, do you want to kill like 3 Walking Dead zombies in a row or 3 30 Days of Night vampires? Like, that's a
Same
pun
question.
fully intended. That's a no-brainer. What would you pick?
Um, I according to the mythos and lore, I know how to kill both of these,
Yeah.
but I'm of a certain age, and vampires are strong as fuck.
Yeah, supernatural.
And they're supernaturally fast. So I'm gonna cut some heads off some zombies.
But okay, wait. What's your weapon of choice for the zombie apocalypse?
Um,
Do you ever read Max Brooks's Zombie Survival Guide?
no.
It's so good.
I should. Everybody keeps recommending it, so I should. I would say I would probably have two weapons.
Okay.
One would be a chainsaw.
Chainsaw?
Mhm.
Word.
And the other one would be a scimitar.
Scimitar? No, those are... If I had to pick two
Or
weapons...
maybe two scimitars.
Dude, that'd be sick. I think I would pick a crowbar.
Just jab it through their brain.
You can just bash them over the head, and it's a useful tool if I need to break into a door or something.
Yeah. Well, you didn't say I couldn't have other tools. You just said, what would my weapon be?
But yeah, it's a weapon and a tool.
Well, you have to remove the head.
Yeah, I'll just beat them. Well, actually, hold on.
Okay, we'll stop that train of thought.
All right. I got a would you rather. You ready?
Okay. Yep.
Okay. Would you rather go back to the past and meet your loved ones who've passed away, or go to the future to meet your children or grandchildren to be?
Well, that's a good question.
It's a tough one.
I would really like to know my dad's parents
Word?
because he was orphaned at the age of 8.
Really? I didn't know that.
And so I never met them.
Yeah.
In fact, I never met very many of the people from his side of the family.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So my tendency is to do that.
Yeah.
As you know, Jared and I have adopted a son.
Yeah.
Who's older. He wasn't older when we adopted him, but when I adopted him, Jared inherited him as a step parent. And he's married, and he and his
Fantastic artist, by the way.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. But he and his wife do not plan on having children at the present time. So it would be hard pressed to go into the future to see grandchildren.
Yeah.
And I plan on, if they have grandchildren, I'm going to be alive to see them anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say I would go to the past to meet the family that I've never met on both sides. I mean, I had limited family on my mom's side because it only went back to my great grandmother, and I never met anybody past that. So
I'm curious. So you've heard of like the butterfly effect, right?
Yeah.
Like just a small change in the past catastrophically changes the future. Maybe not negatively, but it significantly changes it, right? So if you were going to go back in time and meet these loved ones, how would you do it to make sure you don't fuck up everything?
I don't know. I haven't really put a lot of thought in that. And I certainly believe that, anytime you inject something that is not normal into a timeline, you disrupt it. So
you'd be like hiding up in a tree with a pair of binoculars.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. I think that maybe I would not let them know who I was.
I mean, yeah.
And maybe I would fall in line with their customs for the time that I was there. Steal some clothes off a clothesline or something and just kind of try to fit in.
Do you believe in like time travel being a possibility?
I believe that anything is a possibility. That's what I'll say. I believe anything's a possibility, and I believe that we are closer to like time travel.
Yeah.
And beam me up, Scotty.
Yeah, you're
teleportation.
Big Trekkie.
Yeah. Because here's the thing: if you look at all the stuff that was written into those scripts, the early scripts, it's all come true. I mean, we have communicators, our cell phones, we have diagnostic things that they had. So
VR is basically the holodeck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think that everything is possible. If humankind can imagine it, I think that we have the ability to do it.
I was thinking about time travel one time, and it made me think, if time travel was like possible, and we went back in time, and then we gave them the technology, would that kind of like screw everything up? Would it just advance?
It would be against the prom directive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I went off on a tangent there.
That's right.
We should do an episode on time travel.
We should. Cool. I'm going to go off on a tangent here too, but I'm going to backtrack for just a minute. You had asked me right before we began, when we were looking at the script, you had said, what would I do if we had a zombie apocalypse?
Yeah. Dude, your plan actually was pretty... Yeah, tell the listeners, because I think this plan is pretty intelligent.
So we're not going to be able to give you the full plan, because we, out of honoring our employees and students and stuff like that, we're going to kind of keep this on the down low. But the first thing I would do is go to the school building.
Yeah.
And there's some amazing access to the roof that we have that we would control access through that way. And the building is located so that it has food and water and everything within running distance. Like you could just run and as long as you were running fast, you could get there. And as you and I've talked, we talk a lot about apocalypse.
Yeah.
Sometimes. My primary concern in any situation like that is water.
Yeah.
Jared has diabetes insipidus, which doesn't have anything to do with blood sugar. It has to do with a particular hormone that is not created where he doesn't retain fluid. So without medication, he goes to the bathroom all day long. He goes pee all day long. And so my prime objective would be to make sure that we have access to water.
Yeah.
And water purification systems. And then the second part of that would be that, of course, that we all had food.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have to say I'd become a vigilante in this fact that I would be going around to all of the pharmacies to get this one drug for him. I would have to break the law to get it, probably, but
there wouldn't be any laws.
Yeah,
at a
well,
certain
that's
point,
true.
you know, you can't break something.
And this is not a drug that the common person's going to want.
Yeah, they'll be looking for like the antiseptic stuff.
Yeah, and so I have already thought about what I'd have to do, and this is something that's in his family as well. So I even have plans that, like, when we get our new house, I want to have a well.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
So solar power and all that.
I don't even know what I would do.
And that's not conspiracy theory. That's just That's just what ifs.
Yeah. I don't even know what I would do in a zombie apocalypse, to be honest with you.
You would come to your big brother and
I would probably, but like similar to like Jared needing that medication, if I ran out of nicotine, it's over for me. Like, I might as well turn into a zombie.
Yeah.
You guys have me as long as we can secure Zyn and cigarettes, and then it's over.
Well, that wouldn't last long because there's a lot of people addicted.
Dude, everybody's going to start smoking during the apocalypse, too, I'm sure.
And so I think that you would go through withdrawals for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And
I would be a very valuable asset to you guys because
I know.
Zombies eat brains.
No, you wouldn't.
So
they would starve to death.
Yeah, exactly. They would have zero incentive to attack me. I could just walk everywhere to grab your guys' stuff.
No, they're still going to try to eat your brain. They're just not going to be full after they eat your brain.
I was thinking about this. This is a really dark thought.
Yeah. Would it feel like with a zombie eating your brain? Because you're still going to be alive, probably.
No, what if we just broke into the body farm and I just grabbed as many brains as possible, so as we're being chased, I can just throw a brain out.
We're not going to be chased.
We're not.
We're going to be in a tower.
Yeah, but if we have to go out and get stuff,
we will have
a breadcrumb trail of brains to throw them off. We can build a catapult and launch brains off of the top of our building. So that the opposite direction. This is a really
describe
dark thought,
the look I have on my face right now.
It is of fascination and disgust. A little bit of both.
Maybe.
No, man.
I would probably that would be what I'd do. I'd go to the school building and we would gather all my people and all of you have different skills.
Yeah, and I have quite a few guns.
Your entertainment, you bring all your guns, but you're
especially
the
these two
entertainment
right here. We're armed in the G spot right now, guys.
Oh, I'm not going to describe what he just did. It's too embarrassing for him.
Okay, real quick, our dad joke episode, unsurprisingly, was a huge success. We found out that literally everyone loves a good dad joke. Okay?
Or a bad dad joke.
So we're going to include one in each episode from here on out. So Ed, are you ready for it?
Yeah. I guess I'll go ahead and say it.
Okay.
This is one Jacob come up with.
Okay.
Jacob?
Yeah, man.
What do you call 2 ducks and a cow?
2 ducks and a cow. I don't know, Ed. Tell me.
Quackers and milk?
Quackers and milk.
Lord God. Well, family, if you haven't noticed, we're kind of out of it today. We're a little tired. You probably hear it in our voices. I lost my voice over the weekend due to the pollen and talking to more than 600 and 700 people. We spent this past weekend out in Alcoa, Tennessee at FrankenCon 2024. We were there representing the Ravens Vail Podcast Network. We met a lot of great people, and a ton of listeners stopped by the vendor's booth. My dear friend here, my dear phasmophobic friend, was there, and it was very interesting to see his reaction to some of the characters and some of the costumes and some of the concepts that were there. Jacob, what did you think about FrankenCon?
Man, I loved it. I absolutely love going to conventions like this. I bought a bunch of stuff, right?
You did. I think you spent your entire salary.
Just about, yeah. By the way, I blew the budget on the corporate card. No, I'm joking. But, I bought some stuff at Sheffield Museum.
Sheffield.
Yeah.
Well, while we're talking about that, just everybody should be aware that there's a couple of scam things going on. So make sure you have all your fraud protections turned on. Our credit union notified us this morning that the podcast corporate cards had been used in Sheffield, England, at the Sheffield Museum. The only person I know that's been there is Jacob.
Yeah, sorry about
that. He flew there early this morning to make a $1 charge.
Speaking of time travel,
yeah, and he must have spent $4.27 too.
Almost got away with it too.
And Jacob was just telling me while we were at FrankenCon about some food cities.
Here in Knoxville.
You want to tell that story?
Yeah. They found like 3 different.
I think it was East Tennessee, not just Knoxville.
Yeah. 3 different card skimmers were found on the machines.
On the ATM machines at Food City.
Yeah. One was on an ATM machine, and then the other 2 were on self-checkouts.
Really?
Yeah, which is crazy. Because, have you ever had your stuff skimmed before? No. I have.
I mean, it's pretty obvious to me when there's a scanner there.
Yeah.
I'm always aware. The only place I go that typically would have those type of scanners.
Yeah.
I guess that's what we're going to call them.
Scam
scanners. Is like a convenience store.
I got hit to the surprise of literally no one that I tell this to. I got hit at a laundromat that had a vending machine with a card skimmer on it, and I really wanted this like pack of Southwestern spicy chili Doritos, and I was like, oh, how convenient! I can use my card. And then, like, I went to go get a haircut in Alcoa the next day, and my card gets declined, which is so embarrassing because it's not like they can glue the hair back onto my head after they cut it off. So I told them I'm gonna go get it figured out, and I call my bank. And they're like, yeah, we're just going to verify some charges real quick. Now, I'm in East Tennessee. For our listeners who don't know, this state is like, how many hours does it take to drive from east to west?
5 hours?
Yeah, it's quite a bit.
Hours.
And that's if you hit no traffic.
Yeah, that's just straight across.
The bank lady said, "Were you in Memphis like 2 or 3 hours ago? Because we have a charge for $560 something Jumpin' Jack's liquor store in Memphis." And I was just like, no, I'm literally in East Tennessee. And they're like, "Well, by chance, were you there the day before and spent $200 at Jumpin' Jack's liquor?" And again, I'm like, no, I was not. And we traced it back to that card skimmer. And then I got it stolen again. Some dude stole my debit card information and bought $400 worth of shoes.
What's the debit card number?
The number is, here, I'll give it with my social security number at the end in the show notes.
Yeah.
But they bought like $400 worth of shoes at a place called Finish Line in Maryland. So I don't know what happened that week, but it definitely ruined my chances because I was actually in correspondence with a Nigerian prince that I was bailing out. And because the money was taken, I didn't have enough to post his bail, and then he got mad at me.
Oh, my gosh.
I could have been a millionaire.
Yeah, I know. Actually, I got a call the other day, and it said, your employee, Jacob, is in jail.
Oh, really?
And we need $100. We need you to wire us $100 to get him out of jail.
That's cheap.
Yeah.
I don't know what it must have been for.
I just didn't.
I hate how they pick the most believable staff member that you have.
And what I was really upset about is that you didn't come to me the next day when you were at 9:00 and tell me about it after I'd bailed you out.
Say thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
I'm grateful.
I must have forgot.
You must have forgotten.
Sorry, but back to FrankenCon. FrankenCon.
Well, let me talk a little bit about pre-FrankenCon.
Oh God!
And what brought up this scanner thing in the first place. So we were there on Friday, and we go to pick Jacob up on Saturday, because parking and everything. So we pick him up, and Jacob doesn't have a shirt on.
I had it in my hand.
He did, and it seems that. And he's going to try to tell you a story that is not, it's just not true.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you the reality. Jacob, we call Jacob and say, hey, we're on our way to pick you up. And this has been verified by his partner. So Jacob jumps up, he gets dressed, and he jumps in the shower. And then he realizes his shirt's wet. He goes out. And he thinks, okay, I've got to wake up. And he starts guzzling coffee. Okay. I'm going to throw a fact in here that Jacob's well known for. First of all, let me just say this. Jacob drinks coffee black because he can't have dairy because he's severely, the most severe I've ever seen lactose intolerant. So we actually have these little Pez dispensers that we keep full of lactase for him, and
they're like the perfect size.
They are, and it has the little poop emoji on top of it, so they're perfect for this. So he comes out, he doesn't have a shirt on, and the shirt's kind of damp, and he's washed it. He spilled coffee on it too, and he had washed that out, and so he's sitting in the back of our car or our SUV. And we decide we're going to go through a fast food restaurant to grab a biscuit for breakfast. And I just have to tell you, the area that we were in is a little bit notable for prostitution. And the guy at the window kind of just was looking back at him. And so I took opportunity to say, I think I said something like, you could put your shirt back on now that we're done, or something like that. Anyway, that didn't go over well.
Yeah.
And then we had to pull over right next door so that he could go in and get some Zen.
Not a sponsor.
Looking for
sponsors,
but not that sponsor. And so then he comes back out to the car, and he realizes that he needs cash. So and his bank is literally right next door to this convenience store. But what he didn't realize is that there's a 6.5 foot drop.
Yeah.
Jacob's 5'5". So we see him like fall over the wall. And then he disappears. And I'm assuming he's just going to run over to the bank. But instead, the ATM is down the street.
Yeah.
He had to run down the street. And then he, instead of going up and around, which would have been the easy thing to do for someone who's 5'5", he climbs up the 6.5-foot wall.
I had to jump and pull my entire body weight up.
We just see this little head coming up, and we're like, oh, there he is.
It was so hard to not get dirt on my shirt, by the way, when I was doing that.
Because on Friday, we found that there was a hotel ATM.
Yeah.
But, we were at a horror fest, so Jacob was a little horrified. He didn't want to put his card in.
I'm just saying, I look over while we're eating.
This was a high-end hotel, by the way.
Yeah, it's attached to the Knoxville airport or the Alcoa airport, and I look over through the window, and I just, without thinking, I'm like a brooding detective. I just go, "You guys think that ATM's safe over there?" And Ed was just like, "What are you talking about?
What the hell?"
It's stupid. Well, okay. Here's what actually.
Hold on. I'm not done with the story. And so, because we all need our go juice in the morning, Jacob does drink coffee, but we were at a con, so it's easier to have something in a can. So we stopped and got some Monsters, and being the nice people that Jared and I are, we picked up some Monsters for him too because he likes coffee. But instead of reading the label of the Monsters to see that it contained both milk and cream in it.
Mm-hmm.
And Jacob, what did you forget that day?
I did not bring my lactase, and
guzzled that.
Yeah,
drink.
I wanted to be online, man. So I was like, and it wasn't until I had like 2 sips left that I started to feel like somebody was stabbing me in my like left abdominal, and I was like, oh man, what is going on? And dude, what was terrible is that I ran to the first bathroom, full, ran to the second bathroom, it was out of order. Then I had to run up or like down the hallway up some stairs, and I barely, you guys almost didn't have a co-host at the booth that day. That was a nightmare. Oh. Then Jared saved the day. He went and got me some medicine.
So we'll circle back now to FrankenCon. It opened on Friday at 5:30. Actually at 4:30 for VIPs. And I was amazed at how many people were there that had purchased the VIP packages.
Yeah, they were queued up for a minute.
And it stayed pretty full until around, I would say, 8:45 when one of the shows started. It kind of died off.
Yeah.
Shout out to Knoxville Horror. And our girl Sarah Claxton, who was there looking all beautiful and everything. And
her crew had great cosplays
and costumes were phenomenal. We're going to have Sarah at the Appalachian Horror Fest as one of our guest MCs. Her group's also sponsoring Appalachian Horror Fest, and it's been really great getting to know them and being involved in their world of horror.
I think out of her crew, one of my favorite cosplayers that they had, there was a guy dressed up as Jigsaw.
Mm-hmm.
And he had built his own custom red tricycle that was like
sized for him,
and he would just slowly just pedal around the entire con. We ended up giving him every Jigsaw sticker that we had to.
Yep.
He tricked out his trike.
While we were there, we met a lot of people, as we said. But one of the things that we were doing, we launched our new membership, and we'll be giving you all more information about that. It's a free membership. It's called The Circle.
Yeah,
it's for Ravens Vail Podcast. There's some other groups under that's going to be involved too. But we were there and we were registering over the 2 days. We registered about 80.
Nice, yeah.
Groups or 80 individuals as members of the group. And one of the things that I found so interesting about this con as opposed to other cons that we've gone to is the amount of parents who brought their children to the con.
Yeah.
Not because the parents were real horror fans, but that the kids were.
No,
And we're
yeah.
talking 6, 7, up to 16 years old. Just absolute fans, and they knew what they liked too.
Yeah, they knew the characters and stuff like
Yeah.
that, which is hilarious because when I was their age, I was watching like Power Rangers and stuff like that, and these kids were like, "I love Freddy Krueger."
Yeah.
Like,
It was pretty nice. We were also there to represent Haunters Against Hate, and we're going to be having the founder of Haunters Against Hate on one of our shows this season. So I wanted to go ahead and throw that name out there. But Haunters Against Hate is a really good organization. You can look up the organization. We'll put the link in the show notes, but we're not going to give too much away about them. But we look forward to a couple episodes from now having them on the show. And we were there talking them up and kind of doing what we do for people.
there was a really cool lady I was talking to. I'm going to try to remember what her name was, but I was telling her about Haunters Against Hate, and she absolutely loved it because she apparently organizes haunted houses and haunts in Jackson, Mississippi.
Oh, yeah, the lady from Mississippi. This
Yeah.
is such a cool story.
So she was talking to me about their haunted house and that this year they're pairing up with a charity in the local area where they're from that is going to be raising money to build and buy beds for youth that don't have a bed to sleep on. And she said 1 week out of the month of October, the theme for that entire haunt is going to be monsters under the bed.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
I just love it.
It was amazing. She signed up too, so I need to, as we get closer to October, I need to figure
Reach out to her.
what that is. And any listeners that are down in that area, I mean, that's a great cause. And she talked about how they had decades of experience doing haunted house, so I'm sure it won't even be hokey. It'll actually be pretty scary, I'm sure.
Yeah. One of the things that was very fulfilling for me on a selfish level is all of the vendors that are at the expo. And as you know, I am the biggest fan of and collector of Sam paraphernalia.
Yeah.
From the horror film Trick or Treat. And I was able to get stickers and Funko Pop figurines, posters. But one of the things, and we're going to shout this person out later in another episode too, but I just want to talk about the experience at this point. There was a guy there that did Post-it note art who did, we commissioned, and he did it while we were there, an ink drawing of Sam for me from just a reference drawing. But he put his own spin on it. It was done on a Post-it note.
Yeah.
And that's going to probably be the prize or the I don't know what you call it, the crown in my collection, because it was very phenomenal. Well done. That day was kind of short for us.
Yeah.
The next day seemed a lot more fast paced.
Yeah.
And seemed like it was a lot more crowded.
Yeah. One thing I thought was very, very cool, because I'm relatively new to the horror community, is the amount of repeating kind of faces that you see at these cons. Yep. I thought that it was super, super cool to see some people come back and be like, I remember you guys from CreepyCon, which, by the way, we're going to be at CreepyCon.
Yep. Coming up in August. And if you all don't know, you come by our booth. We have all the free stuff. Everything that we have at our booth is free. Stickers,
bracelets.
All kinds of bracelets. We have these wonderful 4x7 movie posters of every horror movie that you can think of, and stickers to go along with them, pins, bracelets, all kinds of things. So come on by when we're at CreepyCon, because it's going to be a wonderful show. It's about 6 times larger.
Yeah.
Than this one. It's a much older show. FrankenCon is in its 3rd year.
Yeah. But the execution of
the
FrankenCon
execution and
layout
the size really surprised me. I was very, very well pleased, and we've already made a commitment to be there next year.
Hell yeah. Yeah. So, I'm definitely glad to go back. I loved it, mainly because, one, we didn't have to travel that far,
right,
which was dope. But I think that our positioning. We always luck out, man. We always have the coolest neighbors at conventions.
Mhm.
Herschel was a gentleman that was next to us selling his own custom art. I bought some.
Yeah, it was beautiful. We bought a piece too. And I just think that we get introduced to such cool people. It's like the gaming group that was beside us at CreepyCon.
Yeah.
And then the Candle Memory Alchemist that we met at Haunts and Legends. Just amazing individuals.
One thing that I thought was cool, because the artwork that I bought from Herschel, you guys know me, man. I bought some cryptid
Aliens.
Yeah. I bought one of an alien like emerging out of some woods, and then this weird cyborg self-portrait that he did, and then these two Nessies coming out of the ocean, or the lake, I guess, the lock, underneath the moonlight. I have a game room that I'm going to set it up in with a black light, because I feel like it'd make it really pop.
Oh yeah, it's all black. It's all black canvas with white and grays on it.
Yeah.
That'll pop real good.
Well, who was your favorite vendor that weekend, by the way, or favorite booth? Outside of our friends of Knoxville Horror, obviously.
Well, I really liked their booth and all the characters that they had there. I really liked the guy that, I don't know how to describe it because it didn't really have a name, but all of the costumes that were being made or that had been made over by the photography place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like I don't know what I'm talking about, but they were these weird, like they had all of the stuff from Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
All the backpacks and everything that you could purchase and all that. And I was just overwhelmed by how intricate and authentic it looked, One
of the cool things about those Ghostbusters dudes is one of them had, they had the pack with all the lights, but then he had also installed a speaker of some sort and was blasting the Ghostbusters theme song.
Yep.
So as they walked around, it had it going.
Now, one of my, two of my favorite things, this wasn't necessarily a vendor or a booth, but someone had taken the youth version of the Alien.
Yeah, the face hugger.
The face hugger. And it might even have been right before face hugger, before it burst out, but had taken and mounted it on an
remote control
car or radio control device, and had it running around. And then there was a Chucky doll on a trike. It was almost like an AI thing, because it would respond to certain things. And if you were standing staring at it, I'm sure through the person who was controlling it, it would say things like, "What are you staring at?"
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And those two things added a lot to that show. Just having them roam around.
It was really, really cool. At one point, I saw the full-size Jigsaw cosplayer slowly being followed by the Chucky doll on the trike behind him, which I thought was hilarious.
Yep. I will say that hotel was just very gracious.
Yes, they were.
For the people there. They were so friendly and so nice. And I will say that the people who run FrankenCon are just over the moon wonderful.
Yeah, they were constantly making rounds, asking us, "Hey, how you guys doing?"
Yep.
Asking if we needed anything. Any question that we had, answered immediately.
Yep.
They didn't just go, "Well, I can find out," and then disappear.
Yep. And everything that they promised us in our contract as a sponsor and a vendor, they made sure that it happened.
Yeah.
And that was really, really a nice feeling.
Our position was really, really cool, too, because we were set up on one side, and in the middle was a DVD bookseller from North Carolina.
Asheville.
And one thing I thought was super, super cool is that right across, and I could see them, they had original cast members from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yep. They had about 40, I think, if I remember right, about 40 different celebrities at this show.
Yeah. People from, obviously Texas Chainsaw. They had a lot of cast members from the movie Thanksgiving. One thing I thought was super.
Oh, they had the museum.
Yeah.
The Thanksgiving museum.
They also, there was a guy there, I think he called himself the Master of Disaster or something, but he was the prop designer for a lot of the first 3 Saw movies,
Yep.
all of the contraptions that they use, like the reverse bear trap mask.
Yeah, the mask and everything. Yeah, it was. I actually thought, oh, I want to put that on, and then I kind of had a panic attack and thought, no, don't want to mess up this pretty mug.
Well, yeah. Well, I was just like, I didn't want to put it on because there were a lot of people there, and I'm like, ugh.
If you have a panic attack right in the middle of
Yeah,
all this.
right in the middle of this place, be like, by the way, come because we use the Ravens Vail booth as I'm like hyperventilating. I think there were a lot of really cool vendors there. One that I thought was probably the coolest, I ended up showing you, I think, but I bought these 2 glass skull candles.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently they didn't just buy the jars that were already in the shapes of skulls. She was a glass blower and
she made the jar.
Oh, and I thought this was super cool. She told me that she based the skull off of an anatomically correct model based off of a skull that she had access to from a college nearby. Like it was somebody had donated.
College.
Yeah, somebody had donated their body to science, and they were used as a skeleton model in the classroom. She based it off of that, which
that's pretty cool. She also had some pretty cool Sam stuff. I went over there after you told me about that, and I found some Sam stuff.
I got a Necronomicon wax melt.
Yeah. Did you see the book right behind you? I don't want it to freak you out, but go ahead and read the title of that book.
Magic and Witchcraft.
That's the complete guide of magic and witchcraft. They had some just really fantastic stuff there. And now I can't get him to stop looking at the book.
Now I'm nervous because I'm like, what else did you buy? I expected to turn around and see like a Necronomicon or something.
I will say we had some fabulous staff for this show.
Yeah. No, we all killed it.
We did. Going to give some shouts out
Go for
to the hubby, first of all. Jared just killed it on membership.
Saved the day after I chugged that monster because he went and got me some anti-diarrhea medicine.
He, as an executive producer, he takes care of all of us, and we're so grateful for him. We had Aunt Ruby B, who was voiced by Lena Perkins, was there on Friday, and she did such a phenomenal job. She is such the epitome of Aunt Ruby B anyway.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Doesn't even have to put on a character. That's just who she is.
And we had, on the second day, we had her husband, who is one of our massage therapists, who was there helping out with our other company, Massage Remedy, that is a professional massage clinics that we own here in Knoxville. Presley King, who voices Uncle Theo, was there, and he was there talking to people and fans, and also it was his first con, and he was also there doing some chair massage. And Jacob got into the chair massage on Friday. And then we had one of our OGs, Miss Starla, who I just can't say enough good things about her.
She was fantastic.
Starla Blue is like this gem.
Oh, man. Yeah.
She's one of our instructors, but she's also like I guess I would just call her Miss Horror.
Oh, yeah.
You know, she plays D&D with us, and she's just phenomenal. And she was there doing massage, and she's been probably like our first original fan. She's listened to every episode and knows every detail about everything from the Cauldron all the way over to the Coven, and so can't say enough thank yous for them and everybody who came out to meet us.
Oh, man, yeah, ran into some fans, which was super, super cool.
I think this was because last year you weren't a cast member.
No.
You weren't a host. You were just doing chair massage to bring people into the booth. But this year it was the first year you got to meet some of your fans.
Yeah.
And
I had a surreal moment. So I think I told you and Jared about it when you guys got back, but you had taken Presley and Jared to go get lunch, and it was just me and Starla manning the booth. And somebody came up, and we started talking, and they're like, oh, yeah, because I was trying to get them to sign up for the membership, get some free merch, and they were like, oh, no, yeah, I'm already a follower of you guys. You're Jacob, aren't you? And I'm like, yes. And they apparently had listened to the episode where it was just about me, right? And this was the first time this has ever happened in my life where this person knew like intimate things about me, more than just surface level, right? And I this was my first time meeting them. It was like having amnesia, and you're meeting somebody from somebody you met prior to getting your head bonked. It was pretty cool and weird at the same time.
Well, I it took me a long time. I'm an extrovert.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to just know how to respond when people are approaching me about the podcasts. My first experience, I guess, I think I've told you about it, but we were in San Antonio.
Yeah.
And we were doing a horror tour. A horror tour. Let's just say horror tour in San Antonio. And we were also there to see a show from another podcast called Night Vale, not a sponsor. And I had worn a shirt. I've got 2 of them. And I'd worn a shirt that says, "Ask me about my podcast." And we were on the street, and this is a 2-part thing. We were on the street, and a guy asked me, he's like, "Tell me about your podcast." And so it took me so off guard because I didn't even realize I'd had that shirt on. Like, I didn't wear it because of the podcast. Well, I always wear it because of the podcast, but I was wearing it as a shirt, right? Yeah. And hadn't even paid attention. And so I rambled through it, and Jared's grandma and Jared kind of looked at me and went, "You really need to learn how to respond to people asking you questions about the podcast." And so I started thinking about it. And then we were in this little bookstore. We were getting ready to take a tour, a haunted tour of San Antonio.
Yeah.
And you went into this bookstore to get your tickets and to wait. And we were in there, and I had my podcast t-shirt on still yet. We hadn't gone home or anything. We had just gone to dinner. And Jared and his grandmother, they're from San Antonio, or that's where we say they're from. They're kind of from everywhere, but they're from San Antonio, and that's where she lives now. We love you, Karen. So we were there visiting her and doing this horror tour. And we went in there to go on this haunted tour. And she and I were looking at some T-shirts, and I turn around, and the guy behind the counter reads my shirt. And he says, "Tell me about your podcast." And by this time, I've thought through, and my brain's really on it because I'd just been asked the question a little earlier. And so I start out saying, "Well, it's a horror anthology podcast called Ravens Vail." And he said, "Are you Ed?" And at that time, we only had like 1,500 followers, right? And it took me so aback that she kind of pushed me forward because I'm like, "What?" And like I said, "Yeah, do you listen to the podcast?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then all of the tour guides that were standing there beside of him, he made them look up the podcast and sign up for it. And so that was my first fan experience because he kind of went on and on about how much he loved the podcast, and I didn't really know how to respond to that.
Yeah,
because it wasn't something that I had expected.
Well, we've never experienced it,
right? It's not something we experience in our lives, and so I have a friend who happens to be pretty famous, and so I went to her and I said, "Hey, when somebody's complimenting you on a performance or something, or when a fan comes up to you, what do you do?" And she said, "Be gracious."
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, walk me through what that looks like, because I don't want to be the person who doesn't do what they're supposed to, right?"
Yeah.
And she said, "Just say thank you."
Yeah, it's really that simple.
And that's where I start. I'm like, "Well, thank you for listening to the podcast. What do you think about it?" And from there, you know me, I could talk about the podcast network for hours on end.
Well, we did this weekend.
Oh, yeah, we did. It was absolutely refreshing and exhausting at the same time. And
Jared really put some miles in on your guys' car trying to get those frames.
Yeah. I will tell you a little glitch. So we have a storage unit that we keep all the marketing stuff in, and we have multiple marketing setups. And so our 10 by 8 big backdrop for Ravens Vail, we captured the huge tube that it's in, that's on wheels and has other banners and stuff in it. We captured that out of the unit on Thursday, and we went to set up, and we get there and we hadn't got the accordion frame for it.
Yeah.
And so Jared, bless his heart, he ran all the way back to Knoxville, it's about a 15-minute drive if you don't have bad traffic, but it was during drive time.
Yep.
People getting off work. So it was about an hour round trip for him, and he gets back and he grabbed the wrong structure. It wasn't the accordion one. It's the one that we use for projection. And so he had to run back, and I went with him this time because we knew it was probably buried. And so people who know us know we decorate our house a lot. This accordion structure was in a case, and it was under literally 15 skeletons.
A lot of skeletons in your closet.
Well, in the storage unit. There's nothing in our closet. I will say one last thing before we close today. We always go out and eat afterwards. We take the staff out to eat. And on Friday, we just kind of did our thing. But on Saturday, we went out to eat, and we went to Black Horse Tavern or brewery.
Yeah.
And the food was phenomenal.
Dude, yeah.
It was just absolutely phenomenal. Again, they're not a sponsor, but I just want to throw it out there. If you're looking for a place out in Maryville, Alcoa area to go eat, go to the Black Horse, because they have an outdoor area where they do concerts and have picnic tables and stuff. Not just a patio, but like an outdoor area.
Yeah, it's like a whole backyard fenced in type of situation. I killed Jared in cornhole, by the way.
You did?
I was pretty good. I even shocked myself. I was trying to play it cool. But yeah, I killed him. I just want that for posterity that I was good at cornhole.
Cornholing. So, yeah, anything else you want to say about?
Honestly, super, super grateful for the opportunity. I definitely enjoyed this con. I'm really looking forward to CreepyCon coming up. I just, not only do I get to share two of my major passions right now, get to share massage with people. And people were very, very thankful. I even got a couple of hugs from some people after they got a massage, but then also sharing the podcast with them. I cannot wait to see what CreepyCon has in store. If it's even half as fun as last year, I know I'm going to have a great time.
Every year that we've been there, it's been just exponentially better every year.
Yeah.
So last year, it was their first year at the convention center. Mm-hmm. And, your first year, you always encounter problems, and the thing that they have is a year to fix all that.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can't wait to see where we're going to be. But folks, we're going to wrap it up now. Jacob and I would just like to say thank you for coming back after we took our little break.
Mm-hmm.
Next week's episode is going to be about pride.
Yeah.
As we enter Pride Month, we want to talk with you all about pride. We're going to have a special guest next week. Our merch manager is going to be here to talk about a special project that she's doing, and we're just very excited about that.
Yeah, me and Ed, before we went on our hiatus, really hammered out a really good series of episode topics. I really can't wait to show you guys what we have in store.
Yeah, it's going to be really great. We also have a new thing that we're doing, and you can send in either through our contacts page on our website, which is ravensvail.com, or if you see us at a con, or you can just go to our Facebook page or our Instagram page. And if there's something you want us to talk about, or if you have questions about anything, we'll do the research and we'll find out. We've purchased a cauldron.
Yeah. Pretty excited about this.
Yep.
It's huge.
And we're going to put all of those in there, and we'll be drawing those out from the cauldron and answering a few of them on each episode. Anything else you want to say, Jacob?
Looking forward to this season. Glad to be back, baby.
Now, family, you adults have a few chores to do. Go on over to ravensvail.com and see about doing your chores on social media. Follow us on all the social media platforms that we've made available just for you folks. Like, listen, subscribe, and follow wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you don't mind, leave us a good rating and a kind comment. You can find the Ravens Vail Cauldron podcast on your favorite podcast platforms. If you haven't already, just search for the Ravens Vail Cauldron podcast. And again, make sure you hit that follow button and stay up to date on our latest episode.
Oh, and tell your friends about us, won't you?
So until next time, family, I'm Ed Bolden-Greer.
And I'm Jacob Garner.
See you soon.
The Ravens Vail Cauldron is a production of Small Raven Media. Today's episode was hosted by Ed Bolden-Greer with co-host Jacob A. Garner. Audio engineering and sound design by Nick Devan at Nicky D Sound. Copyrighted 2024, Small Raven Media. All rights reserved.